Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Revere City Council Subcommittee on Public Works. My name is Ira Novoselsky. I'm the chairman. And Councilor Cogliandro, Councilor Morabito, Councilor Rizzo, and Councilor Rotundo. If you'd all rise and help me salute the flag.
Roll call of the members of the Public Works Subcommittee. Councilor Cogliandro.
Here.
Here. Councilor Morabito.
Here.
Here. Councilor Rizzo is absent. Councilor Rotundo is absent. Council President Visconti.
Here.
Here. And Chairman Novoselsky.
Here.
Here. Quorum is present. First item on the agenda is an ordinance further amending the revised ordinances of the City of Revere relative to curbside collection time for trash.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this was offered by Councilor Rizzo, and I think we all know what he wants to do. And I hadn't touched base with anybody in the Public Works Department. I know, Paul, any thoughts on it? Paul Argenzio.
Good evening, councilors. Public Works has no problem with moving it up to 4 o'clock. I spoke with Michael Wells from ISD, and he didn't see any that the inspectors start early anyway, so by 4 o'clock they're not, they wouldn't be around anyway. So, especially in the winter, sounds like a good idea before it gets dark.
Well, the amendment that's going to be offered, that we do it 4 o'clock year round, instead of trying to flip times.
Well, instead of trying to flip
people.
times, I think it would create confusion if we,
Right.
just...
Right. Any discussion, Councilor Cogliandro?
If Mr. Argenzio thinks it's not going to cause a problem, as well as, Director Wells, then I'd be on board with it.
Okay. Councilor Morabito?
Through you to the clerk, if I offer an amendment, can only the maker of the motion approve the amendment? No. I would like to make an amendment to 3 p.m., and my reason for this is Revere is a working community, and some of the restaurants don't open until 4 p.m. So a lot of people who work in that industry would like to throw their trash out before work because they get home, maybe if they're a waitress or they're bartending, they don't get home until midnight or maybe like 1, and they don't get to, so taking out the trash would cause some of a ruckus to their neighbors and create a disturbance. And for them to, honestly, if you work that time frame to wake up at like 7 a.m. to put out your trash is very difficult for some people, especially if they're coming home at midnight and not getting to bed until 1 or 2 o'clock. So I would like to offer the amendment of 3 p.m.
Okay, so noted. Comments? Councilor Rizzo's not here. Councilor Rotundo. Councilor Cogliandro, you're on the committee. Any thoughts on that?
As long as it's consistent year-round and it doesn't cause any issues with the, Department of Public Works or inspectional services, I'm on board with it.
Mr. Argenzio?
Yeah, the 3 o'clock amendment is fine with us. As long as people throw away their trash properly, there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Councilor McKenna.
Thank you. Can I make an amendment too? I'd like to make an amendment. We have a problem in Beachmont, and we have a lot of stairs because we're up on a hill. People are taking their trash down at 12 o'clock, 1:45 in the morning. Can we have a time limit? I know you can't stop them, and you're not going to call the police to say, hey, the guy's taking his trash down at 11 o'clock at night and waking up people, but my neighbors are getting woken up. Last night it was 1:45 in the morning.
As far as people rolling their barrels out?
And they're rolling them down the stairs,
Right.
so you can hear them.
So, I mean, that could be a police issue of disturbing the peace, I think, if you need something like that enforced.
Okay.
Disturbing the peace, making noise at that time of the morning, I believe they can act on that.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Any other councilors on either of the amendments? Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm okay with the 3 o'clock as long as Mr. Argenzio on the DPW. Public Works is okay. It's fine with me, so I have no objection to that. Thank you.
Any other councilors? Councilor Fiore? We appreciate any comment you may have, Councilor. Councilor Keefe, thoughts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, it sounds reasonable, and like Councilor Cogliandro mentioned, as long as it's consistent throughout so that everyone can be familiar with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Sereno, thoughts? Councilor Silvestri, any thoughts? Okay. Just a question. I don't know if you can answer this, Paul. And this relates to Councilor McKenna's homes on the hills, because I know I have the same thing. And in my district, we allow the folks to leave their barrels down on the bottom of the stairs. Do you know anything about that? They would allow?
Well, I don't know if that's official. I think the ISD uses their discretion as far as these houses that I understand what you're saying. Warren Street, even in Ward 4, is like that. You know, you have to take your barrels, 15, 20 stairs up. I think it's more of a enforcement issue, and ISD uses their discretion. Again, as long as trash is properly stored and not blowing around, I don't think ISD, I can't speak for them, but
Right.
I don't think that's official in the books.
I
That's
know
certain.
I've had good luck with them not,
Right.
finding anybody for leaving their barrels down on the
Right.
sidewalk on the bottom of the hill. And so, Councilor McKenna, through you, your folks that have barrels that go upstairs or downstairs, ISD has been allowing people to leave their barrels on the bottom of those stairs on the sidewalk permanently. So, on the sidewalk, at the edge of the stairs, because they know, because some senior citizens can't climb the stairs and pull them up or push them down. So you may want to check with Mike Wells and double check for your neighborhoods and see who can have their barrels left on the sidewalk at the bottom of those stairs so the trash can be picked up by the contractor. Just a thought. Anybody else on this? So we have an amendment to 3 o'clock is the latest. So what we're going to do first is vote on the amendments and then vote on the final. No.
The proposed amendment would read as follows, that section 8.06.030D, time requirements for the placement of trash for curbside collection, time and method is hereby amended by deleting 5 p.m. and inserting in place thereof 3 p.m.
Roll call. please.
Roll call on the amendment. Councilor Cogliandro?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rizzo is absent. Councilor Rotundo is absent. Council President Visconti?
Yes.
Yes, and Chairman Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes, that amendment has been approved.
Thank you, folks. Thank you, Council. Yes, and now for a final vote, we can do this on a voice vote. All in favor of the amendment as submitted? All in favor? All opposed? Vote and so ordered. Next item.
Next item on the agenda is an ordinance relative to drain layers.
Okay, there was a communication from the mayor through Donnie Charamella, I believe, that they want to change the ordinance on appointing drain layers from the city council appointing them to just having the director of Public Works of Water and Sewer approve each person rather than come through the council. So, Mr. Charamella.
So there was,
Name and address for the record, please.
Don Charamella, Chief of Infrastructure and Engineering for the City of Revere, 215 Rice Avenue, Revere. There was some talk about the city council. They had, I think it was about a year ago, Councilor Granasso had expressed some, had inquired why these drain layers come in front of the city council. There was a desire for it to be directed directly just to the engineering office and the director of public works. And so we acted upon that because at the time, there was some thought that it was kind of, after all the vetting of these drain layers, that it really was just a formality, and that we would probably just do it in-house. So it's up, it's totally up to the committee whether or not you want us to just handle it, the vetting of these drain layers directly within the engineering office and the office of the DPW, instead of going to the city council. A lot of cities and towns don't use the city council for approval of drain layers. But there is a need, we have a lot of concerns about drain layers because they work directly with the public. These workmen, have workers that work directly with the public, and we like the vetting to be a little bit stricter. There have been some incidences where, there's been some allegations of, drain layers, not doing the right thing, and we want to just tighten it up a little bit.
So we're dealing with Chapter 12 and Chapter 13 for definitions mostly, if I'm correct, and
Yes.
the process.
Yes.
So, Councilor Cogliandro, comments, thoughts?
Just a quick question. So your department handles everything else as far as vetting this person, making sure they're qualified, and the only other thing is they would have to come before us. So that's the only thing that would change in this process?
That's correct.
Okay. I'd be for this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilor Morbido?
So all the recommendations, all the criteria for the job, all the background checks, everything remains the same. The only process that's being removed is it's not going to go through the city council.
Correct. So we would like to tighten up the qualifications a little bit. I mean, so there's been some talk, where there would be, maybe we just, the background checks, because on all the employees at the company, so they would have to list all their employees. So we want to prevent any problems with workers. So the drain layer, it's not just doing work outside. Sometimes these people have to enter the home. Mm-hmm. And so that's where, we have some concerns. So I would like to tighten it up a little bit. Maybe what we do is we get a little broader. They're going to have to give us all their employees. And then we do a background check on everybody that works for them. And so the other thing is violations, because if we show up at a job, during an inspection, and they list, X amount of employees, and somebody else is there, they say they hire somebody that's outside of, what they had first, given us on their roster of employees, that's a violation. And we want a little bit more, and I don't really want it to have to go, in front of the city council to say, hey, listen, it puts them on a spot, but we like to just say, hey, listen, your license has to be revoked until you prove to us that you're going to keep to the list. So there are many other issues. We also, there was, some drain layers that have been issued warnings. They're required to put a marker into the pavement of the trench, signifying that's their trench. So visually, myself or Superintendent Genzio can, at a glance, look to see who did the trench. And so we don't have to go through a bunch of files. And so there are times that drain layers don't do that. The rules are pretty simple for us. We're trying to keep them keep them more accountable. And even minor infractions shouldn't really have to be something that, go in front of the city council. We want to try to get these drain layers to work very professionally. Also, there isn't any requirement to prove that they, CDL licenses. Not only is there a background check for all their employees, it very well could be that we ask to have all their CDL licenses, if they're going to drive heavy machinery, or hoisters licenses. We're trying to eliminate the the issues of any problems arising. And there was an incident with one of the local drain layers where, there was an incident that happened in another city and town. So, we have to just make sure that they're working professionally and properly in the city of Revere. And so it just becomes a little difficult with, with having your city council involved. But, we'll do it whatever way you want to handle it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would be in favor of this. Mr. Charamello and his department work hand in hand with these drain layers. And in the past, seeing them come for reappointments, it's pretty much the same people over and over, but they have the one-on-one relationship rather than I do, or whether we do, I should say. And as long as the vetting process is the same throughout with every drain layer, and I'd have no problem with that at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilor Fury?
Through you to Mr. Carmel. Tell me, so what would be the difference between you coming before us and making a recommendation at the appointment time?
So,
Assuming the city council met a little more often.
So say if there's, along with the recommendation, there's also all the infractions that that they've incurred. And so we've presented this to the city council before. And, there hasn't seemed to be any question, but, there are some drain layers that I wouldn't necessarily, there are other drain layers that, from outside of the city that we would get letters of referral from other municipalities. So it's not so much as letter of recommendation from somebody that just did work from the private, from a private sector. So I think it's just having a little bit more freedom so that when a drain layer, there's an infraction, whether it be not even wearing PPE, not even wearing hard hats, that, we can just say, listen, we're not allowing any more, permits for you until you can, until there's been some adhesion to the OSHA requirements. But we don't have that now. So a drain layer is supposed to adhere to the OSHA requirements, but not far as the city. We don't spell that out.
So, because my understanding initially was this was certainly just a transfer of power from the superintendent to your department.
That's correct.
So, okay.
Well, it was suggested in the past from the city council that they not do this. This is where the idea came up. I believe it was last year. Councilor Granasso had suggested that they didn't entertain these anymore. So that's why we had.
So everything we're discussing here tonight, that will be part of this ordinance, or is that sort of something you'd like to see?
I'm sorry?
Again, my understanding was that it was a transfer of responsibility from the DPW superintendent to yourself. The things that you're discussing tonight are things that you wish to have happen, or is that something that's...
So it would be it would be the superintendent of public works, would be Joe Maglione, and
Well, the superintendent of public works, as far as I know, is Mr. Argenzio.
No, water and sewer, sorry.
Water and sewer.
And Nick Rice from the city engineer.
Okay, and is this the same authority that Mr. Argenzio has now?
Mr. Argenzio, he only approves curb cut permits, not drain layers themselves. So Paul doesn't have anything to do with the street opening permits that pertain to trenches.
The ordinance says the superintendent of public works. Am I correct?
I'm sorry? Yeah.
Council, that's what they're changing.
Oh, I understand that,
yeah.
but my question was...
Right. Back in 2018, the city made the move to separate water and sewer from the general side of DPW. And that happened in July of 2018. So I don't, as superintendent, have anything to do with water and sewer or drain layers anymore. That may be some antiquated language in the ordinance, but I think the motion here tonight is to remove the city council from the process. I don't have any problems. You know, Mr. Chamella has been doing it since 2018. Mr. Chamella and Joe Maglione work hand in hand with these drain layers that I don't. I mean, the only time that I would get involved in something was if a trench collapsed or something. So as far as I'm concerned, the transfer of power or what have you has no, in this case, has no problem with me.
Okay, thank you. I have some reservations about taking the city council, abdicating the city council authority, but I'll reserve my comments at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Keefe, comments? Nope. Councilor McKenna? Councilor Sereno? You're here. Councilor Silvestri?
Thank you, Councilor. I'm fully in favor of this. I think it makes more sense than us approving, removes politics from appointing drain layers in the city, and keeps the professionalism of the drain layers in the hands of the people that are working with them on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you. Anybody else? Well, my thoughts are, I'm in favor of this. I think it's a good move. And, you know, basically, we're taking the Superintendent of Public Works totally out of the picture and putting in the Director of Public Works of Infrastructure to that effect. And as far as I'm concerned, you guys are the drain layer police, as you want to call it. You know, even before you were the guys in charge. It came to us just as a pro forma appointment approval, because you had already said you wanted these guys, this company, to do the work, so we had no problem approving it as is. I think once that I can remember in the last 20 years, we had a problem with one drain layer, you know, a local guy. But it was politics that kept him on, you know, because nobody wanted to hurt this particular guy. But I have no problem with this. I think it covers every aspect of Title 12 and Title 13 of our ordinances. And if there are no amendments or thoughts, I'll have a vote of the committee only, please. Who's that? I'm sorry?
Another thought.
Go ahead, Counselor.
I mean, it clearly doesn't take the politics out of it. It's just politics on a different level. So let's not be all naive. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I don't believe anyone's being naive, Counselor.
I don't
Believe what you
I don't
wanna
believe so
believe.
either. I know I'm not, but I'm just being
Well.
frank and to the point. You know,
Roll call.
So we will do roll call on this, if I would.
On an ordinance amendment relative to drain layers, Councilor Cogliandro?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rizzo is absent. Councilor Rotundo is absent. Council President Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Novoselsky?
Yes,
Yes, this ordinance received a favorable recommendation and will be forwarded to the full city council this evening.
perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, your thoughts, your efforts, and we will move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome to the March 14th Appointment Subcommittee. Let's please rise to salute the flag.
Roll call of the members. Counselor Keefe?
Here.
Here. Counselor McKenna?
Here.
Here. Counselor Rizzo is absent. Counselor Sereno?
Here.
Here. Council President Visconti?
Here.
Here. And Chairman Cogliandro?
Here.
Here. Quorum is present. First up on the agenda is new appointments. Stephen Betterman's the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
That's what I've been told.
Thank you. To my understanding, he has removed his appointments and recommend to place this on file.
Next up is Brian Averbach to the Conservation Commission.
Come on up, sir.
Hi. I don't know what to say. I'm here for the Conservation Commission.
If you'd like to share a little bit about yourself and
Sure.
name and address for the record, please.
Brian Averbach, 17 Pierview Ave, Revere, Mass. 02151. Well, I am a licensed real estate agent that hangs my license in Revere. I am a licensed auctioneer in the state of Massachusetts. I am the president of an HOA for an investment property that I own right down the street on Broadway in Chelsea. And I own the home closest to the water in all of Revere Beach. So for me, this is important to be on the Conservation Commission because if there is a flood, I'm going to be more affected than anyone else than the city of Revere, because when it's high tide, the water is basically my front yard. The rocks for, I live on Pierview Ave, for those who are aware, the rocks are my front yard. So, you know, whenever there's a big storm, people follow my feed to be able to see how the waves are because I'm that close to it. And being on the Conservation Commission, for me, at least allows me to be able to have a voice, to be able to say that there's things not being done properly. Like right now, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the brush that's on the beginning of Revere Beach, the Army Corps of Engineers were told they were the ones that are supposed to clean it up. They point the finger at DCR. DCR points the finger at the city of Revere, and it's a circle that goes around and nothing's ever done. So I feel that if I'm on the Conservation Commission, I can at least try to do that, because the amount of rats and skunks and possums and everything that set off my motion alarm because they hide out there is pretty brutal. So I feel this way gives me a voice.
Thank you. Any comment from any councilors? Councilor Morabito.
I'll allow Councilor McKenna to go first, as she's part of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Brian, not only is your backyard, your concern, but there are different places. Revere is made up of 1/3 of wetlands and marshes, and that we try to protect that at all cost. We try not to let the developers come in and take parts of that. So that would be your chore, to make sure that you save those wetlands, you protect the wildlife in the conservation, the marshes. So that's the other thing that you really have to take into consideration. I understand that I know where you live, and I know your problems down there, but there are other reasons to be on this conservation land and Conservation Committee, and one of them is the conservation land that surrounds Revere. So I hope you take the job seriously, and I approve of this. Thank you.
Councilor Morabito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had the opportunity to speak to Brian earlier, and he's very passionate about issues facing the beach because it impacts where he lives. And I have no reason to believe that he will be engaged. You know, when something directly impacts you, your house, and you live there every single day, you see what the issues are. So one thing we can all want from a member of the commission, Conservation Commission, is someone who's engaged and understands the ongoing issues in our city. And the beach is something that is a major issue in right now and in the incoming years with global warming and so many more issues of pollution. And so the list can go on. So I'm in favor of this appointment. Thank you.
Any other councilors wishing to speak? I think it's commendable how passionate you are about helping your community and that you want to do something about it. That's the reason all of us are up here. So, on the motion, all in favor, all opposed? So ordered. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Denise Rampelberg to the Council on Elder Affairs.
Always dancing.
Welcome.
Chairman, if we could bring up the Council on Elder Affairs new appointments, I know this is a little unorthodox, but they would rather maybe come as a group. We have, I think we have 3 present. 1, 2, 3, well, the new ones, the new appointments. Sandy, and we have, well, these are the new appointments, and then we have reappointments. Do you want them all? Or just
Does
the
anyone
new?
have any objections to bringing up all the new appointees to the Council of Elder Affairs?
If we could have the new and the current, the reappointments would be great.
I'm in favor
They're a good
of-
group.
All right, let's have all the new
I mean,
appointments
come
and
on,
reappointments for the Council of Elder Affairs. Come on up.
Yeah.
So that would be Denise, Eleanor, okay.
So we have Denise Rampelberg, Eleanor Vieira, Linda Doherty, Robert P. Hanlon, Cindy Lozier, and are we doing reappointments as well? Okay. Reappointments to the Council on Elder Affairs, Irma Achitulo, Vincent Camerota, Ann Egan, Agnes Ferrioli, Amadeo Iocco, Josephine Picardi, Lorraine Rapoli, Thelma Smith. That's it. Oh, I thought I said Linda Dory, my apologies.
And Ashley, just one more thing, the Amadeo, the one I sent you this morning. Yeah, we'll have to take that out. Okay.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. I'd like to open it up to members of the committee. Councilor Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, I wanted to say this is a wonderful group in front of us, and I know that there were a few members that were not able to be with us today. I know that a few will speak on behalf, as well as yourself, Mr. Chairman. But the Elder Affairs, as you know, and I'm not telling you anything new, is a lot of volunteerism that goes into impact what goes on with the daily life of the community as a whole. But also, as we know, Deb is up here, and she's a great champion for the activities that go along with the seniors in our city. We have some new appointments, and I noticed we have a wonderful stylist in the audience with a green tie for celebrating, I would imagine, St. Patrick's Day week, as I am myself. So thank you. I can see there's some good style there with some of the new appointments, but I hope that some of the leaders and the former members that are being reappointed for doing such a wonderful job will continue to guide the new appointees. And I'm just thankful that you're doing this and you're continuing to contribute to the city. So I'm 100% in support of all of the new appointments tonight. Thank you. New and reappointments.
Councilor McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're a rocking group. I just love coming into the senior center, and I told Deb, I said, anytime I need a little boost and I'm down and out, I come into the senior center, and you all welcome me with open arms. You hold my hand, tell me what a good job I'm doing and how pretty I am, or whatever you say. And I go out with a big head, and and I missed it. I really missed it during COVID because I didn't have that support. And you guys support me, just like I support you. So thank you. I'm going to just speak on, Linda Doherty is not here, and I'm just going to speak on, she was so excited about this appointment. And she's away in Florida with her family, and she wanted to be on FaceTime in front of the council. And Anthony said, no, we can't do that because we have so many appointments tonight. So I'm speaking on her behalf. I think she'll be a great appointment. I think you'll all be a great appointment. I know you all. And thank you all for coming tonight. And congratulations. Thank you.
Council Morabito.
Unfortunately, I cannot vote for any of you because neither of you are senior citizens. Hopefully I scored some points with you guys. No. Honestly, I've had the opportunity to speak to those who are being reappointed and those who are newly appointed. And I've had the pleasure of talking to you one-on-one in the past. And I know that every member who's up for reappointment or appointment will act in the best interest that will impact the needs facing our senior citizens throughout the community. So I think the senior citizens throughout the city are in good hands with you on the board. So I'm in favor of all of you.
Council President Visconti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I want to congratulate the reappointments along with the new appointments to this commission. Deb knows that the senior center is a special place for me. I get a warmer welcome at that place than I do when I walk into my own home. So I like being there, and it is refreshing. You guys have always opened your hearts and arms to me, and I thank you for that. So I want to congratulate you, and I want to say thank you for doing what you do. Thank you.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, what a great group. Yeah, I know everybody loves going out and see you folks, and I've been going down there for the last 20 years, and, now I'm part of you. As being one of you. But just so you know, we also have a committee on elder affairs, which Councilor McKenna is the chairman, and Councilor Keefe's on it, Councilor Silvestri's on it, I'm on it, and Councilor Rizzo on it. So if anything ever came up in front of the council as far as elder affairs issues, this committee would deal with it, and hopefully you folks would come up and support or go against whatever it may be. It's not, everybody's not for everything. But I'm glad to see Bobby Hanlon and I go back umpteen years, and I'm glad to see him back in action and back on the street. And we did miss you for the last 2 years and going down and enjoying the parties and the meals with you. I know we have St. Patrick's coming up on Wednesday. Unfortunately, I won't be around. I'll be out of town, but I'll make up my birthday next month. So congratulations to everybody involved, and thank you for putting yourselves in harm's way, if you want to call it. Because I know everybody's got to be attacking you for something, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Any other councilors wishing to speak? Councilor Fiore.
Very briefly, Mr. President, I have full confidence in this crew. Gee, some of I've known for 40 years. Little League, Nautilus Plus, and yeah, a long time ago. Yeah, I used to go there too. Yeah. Yeah, mine's expired. Anyways, I've known most of you for many, many years, and some newer people, and this is the heart of the community, and I love to see this. So, congratulations. You'll have my support.
Vice President Serena.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you to the appointees, new and, I won't say old, but new appointments and reappointments. I'm happy to support these appointments tonight. You know that you guys have a special place in my heart, and I very much enjoyed our time together planning the senior gala. Gosh, I think that was, 4 or 5 years ago now. But you guys do tremendous work, and again, thank you for all you do for the seniors of our community. Thanks.
Councilor Silvestri.
Thank you, Councilor. I'd just like to say congratulations. The seniors of our city are truly the backbone of our city. And as we go, you go. And I'm proud to sit here and give you my support. And if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to the council. And congratulations.
Will we be taking these all up at once? I do want to mention, is it Amadeo Ioko did withdraw his application, so we will place that on file. All right, let's take a roll call.
Roll call on the appointments, both new appointments and reappointments to the Council on Elder Affairs. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rizzo is absent. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Cogliandro?
Yes.
Yes, the appointments to the Council on Elder Affairs have been confirmed. Next
Thank you very
appointment
much.
up is Paul Ring to the Library Board of Trustees.
Just a quick point of information, one moment, sir, I'm sorry. For the members and existing and new members of the Council of Elder Affairs, you don't have to stay for the regular meeting if you don't wish to, okay? Sorry about that, Mr. Ring.
No problem.
How are you today?
Paul Ring, 67 Fennel Street. Just want to let you know, I should be, been on the board of the library for, next year I'll be 30 years on the board of the library. So I've been seeing a lot of changes for the good, and I'm glad I'm part of it now, for the good of all the things that's going on, the new library director and everything. She's doing a great job for what's going on down at that public library now. And, so, and like I said, I'm glad I'm part of it still after 30 years.
Thank you very much. It's a long time. Any committee members wishing to speak? Councilor Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief. I've known Mr. Ring for some time, and I did call over to the director of the library. They are doing a lot of great new things. Obviously, there's a new kind of renovation going on. The library is going to look unbelievable and beautiful, and she had a lot of confidence in your support of the on that board. So you, of course, have our support, or my support. Thank you.
Councilor McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul, thank you very much for your services. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilor Morabito.
Mr. Ring, it's nice to see you. With your experience, there's no question in my mind that you're more than you're more than qualified to be in that role. Like you said, you've gone through bad times with the library to see the good times come to fruition. So I have no doubt in my mind that this is an appointment that's going to benefit the city. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other councilors? Councilor Fiore.
Mr. Paul J. Ring has my utmost support. He taught me how to drive. I don't know if he knows how to read, but he's a great man of the community, and he will have my utmost support.
Any other councilors? All right. On the motion, all in favor, all opposed? So ordered.
Thank you.
Next up is James O'Brien as an associate member to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Councilor McKenna.
Like Linda Doherty, James O'Brien couldn't be here tonight because he is on vacation, so I'm asking to push this appointment through, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other councilors? Councilor Novoselsky?
Thank you. I would like to, I agree with Councilor McKenna. You know, Jim's being transferred from the planning board over to the zoning board of appeals, and he's done a good job over there, and, you know, where he is on vacation, I don't think we should make him have to come back at another meeting just for approval so he could go, start getting to work in the ZBA. So, thank you.
Councilor Fiore?
Following up on those comments, I don't know that he's, I assume he's still a member of the planning board, and if he is, to serve on the planning board and the zoning board of appeals as an alternate, there would be a conflict of interest, and I see council shaking otherwise, but we would, if that's the case, then I would think that we need a ruling from the Ethics Commission. Hopefully, Council Serino has some more information on that.
Point of information.
State your point, Councilor.
His appointment was one of the ones that lapsed that you brought up. So he's not being reappointed to the planning board. He is being appointed as an associate member of the ZBA.
Okay.
So
And
it
as
would
you,
be-
okay, and as you pointed out, it was very encouraging that those appointments came within weeks of our motion to request the expired terms be filled of probably 30 members. Good point, Councilor.
Any other councilors wishing to speak? I would just like to say I would be in favor of pushing this through. Mr. O'Brien's served the community for some time now, and I think he'll do well in the ZBA. I would ask for a roll call.
Roll call on the appointment of James O'Brien as an associate member to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rizzo is absent. Councilor Serino?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Cogliandro?
Yes.
Yes, the appointment has been, will receive a favorable recommendation for this full city council this evening. On to reappointments. Reappointment of Joseph Lavalley to the Conservation Commission.
Councilors wishing to speak? I do know that Mr. Lavalley is not in attendance today, but I do believe he will be an asset. I do know that he wants to be here, but he has some personal issues that he's dealing with. And you know, and I would just like to see us rebuild this Conservation Commission. They've had so much trouble. Meetings, they haven't even been able to have a quorum present to have the meeting when they've had business. So if the rest of the committee feels the same, we can take a roll call on this.
Mr. President, I wholeheartedly support Joe Lavalley. He served on the Conservation Commission, I believed, under 4 mayors, maybe longer. And he came back when the entire Conservation Commission...
Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rizzo is absent. Councilor Serino?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Cogliandro?
Yes.
Yes, this appointment has received a favorable recommendation. Next up is the reappointment of Heather Laguerre to the Conservation Commission.
Hello.
Hi,
Name and address for the record, please.
Heather Legia, 28 Gilbert Ave.
Thank you for being here. Would you like to make any statements? Tell us about yourself.
Well, I've been on the Conservation Commission for 3 years. I survived the mass exodus. I'm not sure how many people really watch it, but I'm involved. I've been involved. I work with Toby and Ian Raponi. I've been in commercial property management for about 20 years, so I think that makes me somewhat knowledgeable about conservation measures. I deal a lot with septic and wastewater treatment, so I know the right questions to ask. I work with engineers and architects regularly. So although I may not know everything, I know where to look and find the information, and I know who to ask. So I'm just asking to be reappointed.
Thank you very much. Any councilors wishing, Councilor McKenna?
Thank you. Thank you for surviving for 3 years. We've had some really, it's been terrible, the mass exit that we've had, and it's so necessary. The subcommittee, the committee is so necessary for all the development and everything that's taken place in the city. So thank you. And, when I started 7 years ago, I didn't know everything either. But as I progressed in experience, I've learned. And I still don't know everything. So keep on plugging. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Council President Visconti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to congratulate you on this reappointment, and I want to say thank you for also staying with it and not bailing on the city. So I appreciate that, and I welcome you again, and thank you. Thank you.
Council Morabito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Heather, thank you for your dedication and your commitment to not only the city, but the Conservation Commission during its most difficult times. It speaks volumes, so don't think it goes unnoticed. So
Thank you.
I'm in favor of this appointment.
Any other councilors wishing to speak? On the motion? All in favor, all opposed? So ordered.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Next up is Toby Cassidy, reappointment to the Conservation Commission.
Good evening, Mr. Cassidy.
Yeah, Robert Cassidy. Well, they know me as Toby. My nickname is Toby. It was named after a dog in the first grade reader by my sister. But it's, and I'm on the Conservation Committee, as you know.
All right. Any councilors? Mrs. McKenna?
Oh, by the way, my hearing aid is broken, so I'm just about deaf. This ear is gone, but it's being repaired. With the hearing aid, I'm fine.
Councilor McKenna.
You're always funny, Toby. Thank you. Thank you for your humor. And thank you for your service on the Conservation Committee.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Is that good?
Okay.
I think I speak for the committee. Thank you. Thank you for your service to the
It's a privilege to be on the committee. It's very interesting.
Yes, it is. On the motion, all in favor, all opposed? So ordered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Denise San Pedro to the Cultural Council.
Mr. Chairman, Denise was not feeling well. I would ask that we offer her motion up to approve for reappointment.
All right.
She is everything culture on the Cultural Commission.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed?
Aye.
So ordered.
Next up is the reappointments to the Commission on Disabilities, Ralph DeChico, Enza Goodwin, and Pauline Perno.
I believe Enza Goodwin has resigned from taking the reappointment. A letter went to the mayor and myself last week when the letter went out.
All right. Place on file.
Enza Goodwin.
Thank you guys for being here. Any councilors wishing to speak on these reappointments? Councilor Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know we'll be quick, but Ralph and his team, Mr. DeChico and his team, since they've been on the Disability Commission, I know Ricky Frenny was on it for a little bit, has done a tremendous job. And simple as that, I don't know where we'd be without him and his group. So fantastic job. Thank you.
Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I've known Mr. DeChico for decades now, and
not taking away from Mr. Fernie, for he was an excellent model, but you have elevated that position and actually have been extremely helpful across the board, whether it be from the simplest things or the most complex things. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President Visconti.
Thank you both for doing what you do on that committee. Ralph, if anybody knows you, you're involved, okay, and you're not shy about that.
Sorry.
So, no, that's a good thing. So I commend you for staying there and being involved, both of you, and want to say that you've done a great job up to this point and continue the good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? On the motion, all in favor, all opposed?
Thank you.
So ordered. Thank you.
Reappointments to the Human Rights Commission, Attorney Lynn Alexis and Shay Hosani.
I don't see either in attendance. Recommendations from any committee members? Do we?
I would, Mr. Chairman, through you, I would recommend to go forward with the roll call if the committee, if it's the will of the committee.
Any committee members with input? Roll call.
Did you want?
Let's place on file. Okay, it's the will to take both of these up together, and we'll take a roll call.
On the appointments to the Human Rights Commission, on the reappointments to the Human Rights Commission, Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rizzo is absent. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Council President Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Cogliandro?
Yes.
Yes, these appointments received a favorable recommendation and will be forwarded to the full City Council this evening. Next up is Rob Celovich to the License Commission, reappointment.
Good evening, Mr. Salovich.
Good evening. Rob Celovich, 10 Ocean Avenue, Revere.
Thank you for being here. Do any councilors wish to speak on this? Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. I know I'm not in the committee, and I thank you for the latitude. I want to speak on behalf of Bob. He's been the chairman of the Revere License Commission for several years, and he's had a firm hand on it, and he's put his thumb on many errors and violations that have gone over around the city and protected the city in a lot of different aspects. So I would, ask that the committee approve his appointment, and hope that the the Revere City Council will go forward and do the final approvals. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you, Councilor.
I defer to Councilor Sereno as he's a committee member first.
Councilor Sereno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you to Mr. Celovich. I just want to thank you. I think you've been doing a tremendous job. I know I've had some issues in Ward 6 lately, and there have been nights literally that I've called and you've come out to a site, at 8, 9 o'clock at night to kind of assess and monitor a situation at, various businesses or places. So I think you're doing a great job, and I'd be happy to support your reappointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Rotundo.
Absolutely enthusiastically support your reappointment. And you know me and you, we're like, I don't know, water and vinegar or water and oil, whatever, but you are excellent. You are an excellent chairman, and I can't say enough about you about that. Seriously.
Thank you, Councilor.
Any other councilors? Councilor Silvestri.
Thank you, Councilor. Rob, you've done an amazing job since you've been appointed up there. You truly take it serious. You go above and beyond, as the other councilors have noted. You really dig in and get the issues resolved, and I commend you for that, and honored to support your appointee.
Thank you, Mark.
Mr. Salovich, I just want to say, with my time working for inspectional services through the pandemic, the License Commission was something that I watched very closely, and I just want to say I think you handled it with class, and I think you do an amazing job up there. At this time, on the motion, all in favor? On the motion, all in favor, all opposed? So ordered. Thank you, sir.
Very much, councilors.
On reappointments to the Planning Board, Louis Celoni, John DeSimone, and Salamico.
Mr. Chairman.
Good evening. Any councilors wishing to speak? Councilor Keefe?
Mr. Chair, again, Louis and his team, Mr. Miko, the planning board's a busy board, and they a lot, just like the Conservation Commission, every time there's a project in the city, the planning board gets called and they have to draft some sort of a submission. So they get a lot of action. This isn't just a board that they hang out on and, every once in a while have something to do. So we appreciate the efforts that you do for the small stipend that you get each year, and I know that you do it because it's something that you enjoy. But thank you from the community. Thank you from myself, and you'll have my full support tonight. Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I've been on. I was first appointed by Tom Ambrosino, Mayor Tom Ambrosino, back in 2008, and reappointed by Mayor Dan Rizzo, and now I'm being reappointed for a third time by Brian Arrigo. And I've been honored to be chosen by my peers as their chairman. And I fully intend to do as much as I can to represent the city in my position.
Councilor Rotundo?
Absolutely. From the time that you were appointed by Tom Ambrosino and forward, you've been a pleasure to work with, but more importantly, as an asset for the city going towards Capic, and more importantly, keeping the guy to the right of you in line. But, this is one of the nights that I really, eulogize or give accolades to people, but tonight we have a handful of people that definitely deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Morabito?
Thank you. What can I say? Lou. If anyone knows how to plan and organize, it's Lou. I think he'll do a great job. He's passionate about everything he gets involved in, and I think he'll be an asset to the board. I think all the appointments are good picks. So I'm in favor of all the appointments tonight.
Councilor McKenna?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lou and John, thank you for your hard work. Thank you for being there for the city. And Lou, especially you, thank you for your support and helping me along the way here and there. So I just want to say that I'm supportive of this appointment tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Novoselsky?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, having been a member of the Revere Planning Board for 10 years and the chairman for 7 years prior to me being on the city council, I know what you guys go through. And sometimes it's not an easy job. And it gets down to details and knowing what's going on with zoning and lot lines, plot lines. And I just thank you for all the work you put into it. It is an exciting board to be on. And Louis, again, was mentioned, he is an organizer and a good planner. And he taught Johnny the right thing, even though Johnny's older than him. So thank you and good luck.
Council President Visconti?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank all three, I believe, are getting reappointed tonight, correct? If I'm not mistaken. So I want to say thank you to all three for all the time that you put into the city. Like Councilor Keefe says, it is a small stipend, but you don't do it for the money. You do it because you love the city and you want to be involved, and I thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you. Salamico's not here this evening, but he's vice chairman of the board, and
he's part of our quorum.
Yes.
I
Thank you.
hope that you would find favorably in his behalf.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to take up all three at the same time. And before we do that, Councilor Serino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be quick, but I just want to thank Mr. Ciarloni and Mr. DeSimone for their service, and I'm looking forward to voting for these appointments tonight. I've had some, again, issues in Ward 6 in North Revere during my tenure, and I can say the planning board always does their due diligence and always tries to protect the neighborhood and the residents. So I appreciate your work, and I look forward to voting in support.
Thank you, Councilor.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed? So ordered.
Next up for reappointment is Michael Tucker to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Michael Tucker, 9 Ellerton Street, Revere.
Any councilors wishing to speak? Councilor McKenna, guys, and let's please try to speed this up. We're a little behind, okay? Councilor McKenna.
I have to say something about Michael Tucker. I just want to thank you for your hard work. I know you've called me in the past. Every time there's, a property going, there's a conflict in Ward 1, you've let me know about it. If I missed whatever, ask me what my vote is. So I just want to say thank you for being supportive, and I approve this appointment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve. All in favor, all opposed?
Thank you.
So ordered. Thank you, sir.
Next up for reappointments to the Election Commission, Elizabeth Dixon and John Camerota.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome.
John Camerota, 24 Billow Ave, Revere, Mass.
Elizabeth Dixon, 80 Linway, Revere, Mass.
Welcome. Thank you for being here today. Do any councilors wish to speak on these reappointments? Councilor Morabito would like to speak.
Guys, I think you do an awesome job. To be correct, my colleagues calling me out. So, gentlemen and lady. So, you guys have done a great job in the past. I've known you both for a very, very long time, since I've started up here on the council, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor McKenna.
Thank you. I just want to say quickly, thank you for your services, and you've been doing a great job, and congratulations tonight.
Council President Visconti.
Thank you to you both. We're going to repeat ourselves. I know you guys, for the time and effort that you put in, we appreciate it, and we can't thank you enough. Thanks.
On the motion, I'll take them all up together. On the motion, all in favor, all opposed? So ordered.
And final agenda item, Council Order 22-075, communication from the mayor relative to special municipal employee status for members of the Council on Elder Affairs.
Comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor Serino.
if I might, just for the edification of the public, I got an inquiry from a Ward 6 resident about what this does. And what essentially this does is the Council on Elder Affairs, I believe they get a small stipend for being members of the Council on Elder Affairs, but a lot of them are also poll workers or have some other part-time city job, either poll workers or I think for the senior abatement program or what have you. This just allows these seniors to do these, 2 minimum jobs. So they're part-time, not full-time or anything like that, but just for the edification of the public, that's what this is.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors wishing to speak? On the motion, all in favor, all opposed? So ordered. No further business.